Welcome to the realm of your favorite horror storyteller. This video contains multiple scary stories. Be sure to watch until the very end. Should you wish to navigate between stories, time codes are provided below. Also, thank you for all your feedback and support so far. We appreciate it. Now let's get started.
In the quaint town of Willow's End, where everyone knew each other's names and birthdays, a chilling mystery began to unfold one crisp autumn evening. It started with the disappearance of little Emma Bennett, a cheerful girl of 8, known for her love of fairy tales and adventure. Her absence left a void in the heart of the community, a silence too profound for words. The search parties returned empty-handed, and hope began to fade with each passing day. Then, 3 days after Emma vanished, a handcrafted doll appeared on the Bennett family's front porch. It was a beautiful, yet eerie, replica of Emma, down to her curly brown hair and the freckles that danced across her nose. The doll wore the same dress Emma had been wearing the day she disappeared. Mrs. Bennett found it when she stepped outside to fetch the morning paper, her scream piercing the somber dawn. The police had no explanation. The doll was examined, but no fingerprints or evidence could be traced back to its creator. It was as if the doll had simply materialized out of the morning mist. Word of the sinister gift spread through Willow's End like wildfire. Fear took root in the hearts of all, especially those with young children. The community hall meetings were filled with whispers and worried glances. Parents held their children a little tighter, and the streets of Willow's End grew deserted as the sun set each day. But Emma's doll was only the beginning. Over the next few weeks, more children disappeared. A boy named Liam, who loved to ride his bike in the park, twins Ava and Aidan, known for their mischievous pranks, and several others. And after each disappearance, a doll appeared, a silent, mocking echo of the child lost. The town was in the grip of a terror it couldn't understand, facing an enemy it couldn't see. Michael, a carpenter and father to missing Emma, became the unofficial leader of the distraught parents. He was a man of action, driven by a fierce love for his daughter and an unwavering determination to find her. With each new doll, his resolve hardened. He pored over maps of Willow's End and its surroundings, tracked down old town records, and interviewed anyone who might have a sliver of information about the history of the area or any known enemies of the families affected. It was during one of these interviews that Michael first heard of Ravenscourt, an old estate on the outskirts of town, long abandoned and shrouded in rumors of curses and hauntings. The locals avoided it, crossing themselves whenever it was mentioned. But Michael was desperate, and desperation knows no fear. He organized a group of volunteers from among the parents and townsfolk, each touched by the tragedy and eager for answers. As they prepared to venture to Ravenscourt, the atmosphere in Willow's End was one of grim anticipation. The group gathered supplies, flashlights, and whatever tools they thought they might need to confront whatever lay within the estate. They met under the cover of night, their faces set in grim determination, aware that they were stepping into the unknown. Their journey to Ravenscourt was quiet, the only sounds the crunch of gravel underfoot and the occasional hoot of an owl. The estate loomed ahead, a silhouette against the starry sky, its broken spires and darkened windows, a testament to years of neglect. The air grew colder as they approached, and the whispers of the past seemed to rustle in the leaves around them. As they crossed the threshold into the estate, each felt the weight of the night press in on them, a tangible reminder of the horrors that might await. But driven by love and loss, they moved forward, into the darkness, toward a fate yet unseen. The estate of Ravenscourt, once a beacon of grandeur and opulence, now stood as a testament to decay. Its iron gates, twisted and rusted, creaked mournfully as Michael and the volunteer group pushed them open. The path to the mansion was overgrown, the once meticulously maintained gardens now a wilderness that seemed to swallow any sign of the outside world. As they approached the mansion, the air grew noticeably colder, a chill that seeped into their bones. The group moved cautiously, their flashlights cutting through the darkness, revealing the mansion's facade, pockmarked by time and neglect. Vines climbed the walls like tendrils, and the windows, some shattered, some intact but filthy, stared back at them like blind eyes. The decision to split up was made with reluctance. The mansion was vast, and daylight was precious. They agreed to maintain radio contact, with Michael reminding everyone to be vigilant and to regroup at the first sign of danger. Michael, driven by a father's desperation, made his way to what appeared to be the main hall. The door, heavy with age, groaned as he pushed it open. Inside, the grandeur of Ravenscourt's past whispered from the dust-covered furniture and faded tapestries that adorned the walls. A grand staircase spiraled upwards, its railing polished by the hands of countless unseen visitors. Meanwhile, Julia and Darren ventured into the library, where books lay scattered, their pages yellowed and bindings cracked. Among the chaos, they found a series of journals belonging to the last owner of Ravenscourt, a reclusive figure known in the town's lore as the Doll Maker. The journals were filled with ramblings about lost love, the pursuit of perfection, and a descent into madness. Sketches of dolls, eerily lifelike, filled the margins, each accompanied by a name. Lisa and another volunteer, Tom, descended into the cellar, where the air was thick with the smell of mold. Here, the remnants of a workshop were discovered, with tools laid out as if waiting for their master's return. Doll parts, some beautifully crafted, others grotesque and unfinished, littered the workbenches. It was clear this was where the doll maker had practiced his craft, pouring his madness into each creation. The group's exploration revealed more than just the physical remnants of the past. Strange phenomena began to occur. Cold spots moved with intent. Shadows flickered in the absence of light, and the sound of a child's laughter echoed down the empty halls. Each member of the group experienced this unsettling activity, a palpable reminder that Ravenscourt held secrets that were not keen on being uncovered. It was in the mansion's chapel that they found the first real clue. A hidden compartment in the altar revealed a map of the estate, marked with cryptic symbols that matched those found in the dollmaker's journals. The map highlighted a secluded grove on the property, marked with an ominous X. As night began to fall, the group regrouped, sharing their findings and experiences. The decision to investigate the grove was unanimous, driven by a mix of fear and determination. Armed with the map and a growing sense of dread, they made their way to the grove under the cover of darkness, guided by the light of their flashlights and the hope of finding answers. What awaited them in the grove was beyond their darkest imaginings, a place where the boundary between the material world and something far more sinister was blurred. It was here, in the heart of Ravenscourt, that the true nature of the curse that bound the estate, and perhaps the key to breaking it, was hidden. As they stepped into the grove, the air stilled, and the whispers of Hollow Creek seemed to converge upon them, a cacophony of voices from the past, each crying out for release, for vengeance, for peace. The grove was shrouded in an unnatural darkness, the moonlight seemingly unwilling to penetrate the canopy above. The air was heavy, charged with an energy that made the skin crawl and the mind reel with unease. The group moved cautiously, guided by the map found in the chapel, their path illuminated by the weak beams of their flashlights. As they navigated the dense underbrush, the whispers grew louder, a chorus of voices that seemed to emanate from the very earth beneath their feet. The voices were filled with sorrow, anger, and a deep, unending pain. It was as if the grove itself was alive with the memories of those who had suffered at the hands of the doll-maker. In the heart of the grove, they found the remains of what appeared to be a ritual site. A circle of stones surrounded a decayed altar, upon which lay the remnants of dolls and other ritualistic paraphernalia. The dolls were arranged in a pattern, each facing outward, as if standing guard over the site. The symbols etched into the altar matched those found in the doll-maker's journals and on the map, confirming their worst suspicions. This was where the doll-maker had performed his dark rituals, binding the souls of the missing children to the dolls. The revelation was a chilling one, casting a new light on the doll-maker's madness. It was not merely the act of a grieving father seeking to resurrect his lost family, but a calculated descent into darkness, one that had ensnared the souls of the innocent. As they examined the site, the group experienced a series of terrifying supernatural occurrences. Shadows moved with malicious intent, darting between the trees and the stones. The temperature dropped sharply, their breath visible in the air as frost began to form on the ground, and then the dolls began to move. It was subtle at first, a slight shifting of position that could be dismissed as a trick of the light. But then the movements became more pronounced, deliberate. The dolls turned their heads to watch the group, their glassy eyes reflecting the flashlight beams with a malevolent glow. Panic set in as the group realized they were not alone. Spectral figures emerged from the shadows, their forms flickering and indistinct. These were the spirits of the doll-maker's victims, trapped between worlds, their anguish palpable. The air filled with their cries, a haunting lament that spoke of betrayal and a longing for release. Michael, driven by a desperate need to find his daughter and end the nightmare, urged the group forward. They began to dismantle the ritual site, hoping to break the curse that bound the spirits to the dolls. But as they did so, the spirits became agitated, their forms solidifying into something more sinister. The group was soon surrounded, the spectral children advancing with outstretched hands, their faces twisted in expressions of rage and sorrow. It was clear that the doll-maker's rituals had corrupted their spirits, turning their pain into a weapon. In a moment of clarity, Julia remembered the words from the doll-maker's journal, a passage that spoke of reversing the ritual, of freeing the spirits bound to the dolls. With no other options, the group formed a circle around the altar, joining hands in an attempt to recreate the ritual in reverse. As they chanted the words, the ground trembled, and a howling wind rose from the depths of the grove, swirling around them with ferocious intensity. The spectral children halted their advance, their forms wavering as if caught in a storm. The ritual reached its climax, a blinding light emanating from the altar, enveloping the dolls and the spirits. There was a moment of unbearable tension, a sense that the fabric of reality itself was tearing. And then, silence. The light faded, the wind died, and the grove was still once more. The dolls lay inanimate, their sinister animation gone. The spirits of the children had vanished, released from their torment. Exhausted but alive, the group made their way back to the mansion, the first light of dawn breaking over the horizon. They had confronted the darkness at the heart of Hollow Creek and emerged victorious, but the cost of their ordeal was etched in their faces. As they left Ravenscourt behind, the sun rising to banish the shadows of the night, they knew that the echoes of Hollow Creek would haunt them forever. They had broken the curse, but the memories of those lost souls would linger, a reminder of the price of delving into the unknown. The first rays of dawn brought with them a serene quiet that belied the turmoil of the night. As Michael, Julia, and the rest of the group trudged wearily away from the Ravenscourt estate, the mansion seemed to recede into the mist, as if the forest itself sought to swallow the dark history it harbored. In the light of day, the horrors of the night felt like a distant nightmare. Yet the physical evidence of their ordeal was undeniable. The dirt and grime on their clothes, the scratches from brambles, and the somber expressions that marked their faces. The group's return to Willow's End was met with a mixture of relief and disbelief. The town had spent a restless night, fear and speculation running rampant. The appearance of Michael and his companions, haggard but alive, sparked a frenzy of questions. Word of their harrowing experience spread quickly, though few could grasp the full magnitude of the terror they had faced. The dolls, once sinister tokens of the missing children, had been reduced to inert figures, void of the malevolent energy that had animated them. In the days that followed, the missing children began to return. One by one, they were found at the edges of the forest, disoriented but unharmed, with no memory of their time gone. The joy of their return was tempered by the shadows in their eyes, a silent testament to the ordeal they had endured. Michael's daughter, Emma, was among the last to be found. The reunion between father and daughter was a poignant moment, a beacon of hope in the aftermath of darkness. Yet, as Michael held Emma in his arms, he knew that the scars of Ravenscourt would linger, an indelible mark on their souls. The volunteers who had braved the night at Ravenscourt became known as the Guardians of Willow's End, a title that spoke of their courage and sacrifice. They were celebrated as heroes, but the accolades did little to ease the burden of what they had witnessed. In the wake of the events at Ravenscourt, the town of Willow's End changed. There was a newfound unity among its residents, a shared resolve to protect the innocents that had been so cruelly threatened. The forest and the ruins of Ravenscourt were declared off-limits, a necessary barrier against the darkness that had once seeped into their lives. Yet, even as life returned to a semblance of normalcy, the memory of the doll-maker's curse remained. Parents hugged their children a little tighter, and the woods that bordered the town held a new mystique, a reminder of the thin veil that separates the known from the unknown. Michael, Julia, and their companions carried the weight of their experience in silence. They had faced the abyss and emerged victorious, but at a cost. The whispers of Hollow Creek had faded, but they would never be forgotten. Echoes of a night when the veil was lifted and the darkness looked back. As the years passed, the tale of the doll-maker's curse became a legend in Willow's End, a story whispered on windy nights, a cautionary tale of curiosity and the price of delving too deep into the shadows. But for those who had lived it, the legend was all too real, a chapter in their lives they could never close, a haunting melody in the symphony of their existence.
Well, there you have it, folks. A tale that might just keep you up tonight. If you dare to hear more stories that go bump in the night, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you won't miss out on any of our haunting adventures. Give this video a thumbs up if it sent a chill down your spine, and share it with those who could use a little scare. Remember, some stories are just tales, while others, well, let's just say you might want to keep that nightlight on. See you in the next video if you dare. Until then, sweet nightmares.